Is a warranty good? Is it worth the money? Well, hello everybody and welcome to the Subtac Off-Road Life channel. You can call me Greg, Subtac, or Mac. It does not matter. What we're going to talk about today is extended warranties. And I got a story for you. Now, have you ever heard of torque? Anybody that has gone out and bought a brand new side-by-side, four-wheeler, or whatever, has been offered an extended warranty. My case, I got 4 years on this. I think it was about $1,200, and for the most part, this worked out quite well. It depends on the people that are representing torque, and it depends on your dealership as to how hard they fight for you. My dealership is Shoals Outdoor Sports in Florence, Alabama, and the main guy that I dealt with, well, I had Mike, who I bought it through, was a salesman, but Blake, I guess he's the maintenance supervisor or shop supervisor or whatever he is. I've worked with him most of the time dealing with repairs and services on this. So one of the main things that the warranty company wants you to do, it's in the contract, is to maintain the service intervals. In other words, I believe it's every 50 hours you go in and have a service done on it. And they have a schedule there, however many, if it's 100 hours, 150 hours, 200 hours, whatever it is, there's a particular type of maintenance that needs to be done on the vehicle. I've bought this October 17th of 2017. I remember it quite well because October 17th is my dad's birthday, but that's irrelevant to this. Anyway, that's when I bought this. And the 4-year extended means you get your first 6 months with Polaris, and then your 4 years starts. So I've got 4 years and 6 months worth of warranty on this machine, as long as I keep it maintained and the things that break are not due to skinny pedal stupidness or whatever. So I have maintained the service schedule with this. In other words, within that 50-hour period, this puppy went in and got serviced. And every time I left that shop, I'd say, okay, am I good with the warranty, guys? Is the service is up to date and everything? There'd be no complaints. And the word was always, no problem, you're good to go. And every time I took it in, I've had warranty stuff done on it, such as seals on the front diff went bad, started leaking. That was the very last one that was done. I've had wheel bearings, fuel pump. What else? Oh, there was an axle that the boot was ripped on, and that's a hard one to get past them because they'll say, well, the boot came in contact with a foreign object to get that rip in it. However, that was not the case, and they were able to push it through, meaning Blake pushed it through and got it taken care of. There was also one of the seals on the rear diff that went bad, and that was replaced. What else? A couple other things. Now, mind you, it's not like this is a lemon and falling apart. I mean, I've got over 2,000 miles on this thing. The hours I don't even know. So, and it's held up quite well. Now, I'm not a skinny pedal stupid guy, and I'm not knocking the people that I go out and film and calling them stupid. I'm just saying some people will run these things like crazy, and others, like me, try to keep it in good condition. And the reason for that is because I go out and film. I want to be able to get to where the guys are having a good time playing, going through the mud, going up the hills, rolling, whatever it is that they're doing. I want to be able to get there, and that's kind of the main purpose of this puppy, is getting me to those places. I mean, I go out and have fun. I do some going through the mud. This thing has gone up some hills that I didn't think I could go up, and you know, I've done it, gone down some hills I didn't think I could go down. but I didn't push it when I was doing it, and I've tried to take care of it. So here's the story. Like I said, the last warranty claim I had to make was the seals in the front diff. I got to noticing when I'd come home and wash it, there was fluid around the axles. So I took it in. Sure enough, seals went bad. Warranty replaced it, no problem. Well, at that same time, a service was done on it. But the service wasn't recorded as a service. Everything was recorded as the warranty recall. Okay, semantics. Now, what was it? That was in February. March. So probably sometime in April. Yeah, in fact, it was in April. It was like, I think it was the Mule Day ride at Wheeling in the Country, April. We were out riding around, and I was going up some hills, and I could hear in the front end, well, what it sounded like is like the tire had got a hold of a tree branch or something, and as it come around, it would hit the bottom of the brazier. It was like a tunk, ka-tunk, ka-tunk. And we got to get up to the top, and I look around, nothing stuck there. Take off, everything is fine, must have fallen out. Going around for a little while longer and going up another hill, and ka-tunk, ka-tunk, ka-tunk. It's like, what the heck, man? So when we got back down to camp, I took it to the shop, and we lifted it up, got to playing with it, and you could spin the front tire while it was lifted up, and you could hear it growling. You could hear that front diff growling, and plus you could grab the axles, and there's a little bit of play in them anyways, but these were sloppy play. So I thought, okay, putting it up. I had the four-wheeler, so I finished out the weekend on the four-wheeler, cleaned it up a little bit. I didn't do the whole degreaser and everything, but I did spray it all off and get it clean so that they didn't have to wade through the mud to work on parts. And I took it in to Shoals, and of course, oh yeah, warranty will cover that, no problem. They checked it out and said that somehow it had got something had let water and mud and stuff in there and caused things to go bad. Now, mind you, they'd replaced the seals in February, so 2 months, February, March, April. Probably mid-February to mid-April, so we're looking at 2 months. During that time, I saw no leakage or anything like that. So it's a mystery to me how the water and stuff got into the diff. So they called the warranty guys, set it all up. The warranty guys go, oh, we need to come out and look at it. So a week goes by, they come down and look at it. Then they go back to wherever their little cave is that they go to. And a couple days later, they deny it. Say, no, we can't do it. Here's the reason why. Because it didn't have its last service. In other words, it didn't have the last time that it went in, it didn't have the service on it. They said, well, yes, it did. It was when we did the warranty work on it and we did the service at the same time. We just didn't put anything in the computer saying service. We did all that work. It's right there. You can see it. It just wasn't labeled as a service. It was the warranty work. Well, we have no way of knowing what you did, if you did the right things and everything, because it wasn't a service. So they were going to deny it. Well, they decided Shoals decided, okay, they're going to fight this. And this is the good thing about Shoals. See, Shoals is one of those dealerships that really fights for their customer. So Shoals started fighting. So this probably took 2 or 3 weeks, and they had thought they had exhausted, and this was another guy in the service department that was doing this, and he probably figured that he had exhausted all of his avenues, and he said, no, they're just coming back denying it. He says sometimes it helps if the customer actually calls, so they gave me numbers, and that was a first calling, people don't know what I'm talking about. Finally calling around there, and I finally get to somebody that goes, yeah, I understand, I'm sure it was done, and we can see here in the records you've taken good care of it. Let me give you a number to this other, what they call him, supervisor, and have the dealership call them. So I called back and talked to the other guy, and he said, well, I'm going to put it in the hands of Blake. So Blake got a hold of it, and Blake started calling. Denial. He says, and he started telling me about Torque is a company, and the way he's talked about it, it sounded like there's umbrella companies over that, and he was trying to go up the ladder. And so this lasted, so we took it in April, May. I just pulled it out here a week ago, and this is June 28th, 29th. So all that time Blake fought tooth and nail with these guys up the ladder, and he just could not get them to budge on it. And it was all over semantics. It was all over the fact that they didn't record it as a service. They recorded everything under the warranty. And so since it wasn't serviced on that particular hour point, they just wouldn't do it. They're obviously, finding a loophole, or whatever you want to call it, not to pay for the repair that I'm actually I believe I'm entitled to, because I've kept up my services. I kept everything up. I bought the contract. So finally Blake just told me, we can't get them to budge on it. No matter who I talk to, they're not going to budge. And then he said, I'll tell you what though, because you're such a good customer, we want to do everything we can for you. We'll get the parts, and we'll heavily discount the parts. I think he was saying split the labor in half, and he came back with the numbers of $1,400. So I can imagine what it would have been without that. And I kind of, I'll tell you what. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe what I had to do is just bring it home, take it apart, and learn how to do it myself. Order the parts, do a video, the whole bit. And I said, hey, Blake, I really appreciate it, but just, get the diff back in it, get it so I can roll it up on a trailer and bring it home. He says, okay, we'll do that. So, I don't know, 45 minutes went by. I don't remember what I was doing. It was kind of in the evening before they closed. They closed about 6, so it was probably 5:30 or 5:45 or whatever. He calls me back. And he says, you know what? I have in the shop a front diff out of a 2019 high lifter. And what happened was, the gentleman that bought the 2019 immediately took the Outlaws off, put on road tires, and which means he's constantly trying to ride that thing at higher speeds. He says, and when that diff gets to 45, 50 miles an hour, it has a rattle or a rumble or something like that. And what he explained to me was, and I'm not going to remember gear names and all this stuff, but there's gears that spin in there all the time. When it goes into four-wheel drive, they come together. Okay. But when you're and there's a tolerance level there that he keeps them well balanced or whatever it is. He says, but when these were a little out of tolerance, it just wasn't quite where it's supposed to be. And so when he hit 50 miles an hour, he could hear that little growl in there. And he said, the diff is perfectly fine. It's not something that's going to cause it to break down. It's not anything that's going to come apart at some point. It's just a little bit of a noise at 50 miles an hour. And he goes, I know. And they have computers in these things. They can go and look at the history of what you do. He says, I know you rarely get it to that speed. You're more trail riding, mud riding. I said, that's true. He says, other than that, it's a brand spanking. It's got, I think he said like 15 hours on it, or some low amount of hours on it. And he says, I'll tell you what, I'll give it to you for free, and I'll only charge you half the labor to put it in there. Now, this was Blake at Shoals Outdoor Sports in Florence, Alabama. Working from, I had finally told him to just get it so I can put it on the trailer, and he was, okay, we'll do that. But he still went out and he was trying to figure out a way to make it right for me. And so, I double checked with him. He says, no, this is not something that's going to cause me a problem in the future. He says, no, in fact, when it goes in there as brand new 2019, the warranty on that will start over. So I said, well, I can't beat that. Let's do it. And then I said, oh, check the hours, see if I need to do a maintenance on it. In which it was like 10 hours shy of needing another maintenance, so we just went ahead and did it. So the moral of the story is a warranty good? Is it worth the money? Even after this, I still got to kind of say, yeah, it is. If you've got it through the right dealership and they fight for you. And the reason I'm saying is because the stuff that was done to it previously through warranty, I'm sure probably was double what I actually paid for the warranty, if not that, if not more. However, got to be sure when you go in and get stuff done, make sure that the records are labeled correctly. In other words, if they do a warranty and a service at the same time, make sure those things are recorded both. You record the warranty that you did and record the service. Don't just lump it all into one and under the warranty, because they're going to come back with semantics and say, oh no, you didn't, we don't know what you did, we can't tell, it's not, and they were pretty adamant that they were not going to cover it over the word service. What do you think about that? But the upshoot to this is Shoals Outdoor Sports in Florence, Alabama is an awesome dealership. They got awesome people there, and they do everything they can to make something work for you, and they go that extra mile. In fact, it was a Friday, and I said, okay, well, how long will it take you to have it done? And he said, we could probably have it done for you about noon tomorrow. And so I put the trailer on it and went down there the next day, Saturday. I got there about 10:30 or so and did some stuff in town, and then went out there and parked. But they were still working on it, and it took them longer than that. I didn't get it out of there till about 3:30. But the point is that they were making sure everything was right and making sure it worked, the whole bit. Anyways, I left there that night and went straight out to West Point and rode till 4:30 in the morning because I hadn't been in it for a long time. Actually, I got lost. I was with one group, and we were fixing to leave, and then another group come around. Of course, it's dark, and everybody starts doing this, and I kind of lost track of who was who, and so I just followed this other set of headlights group, and it ended up being another group. And they went to places I had never been before, and I had no idea where I was at, so I just had to follow them till we could get back to the main road. It ended up being about 4:30 in the morning, and it was fun. But I didn't even try to pack it up and go home. I just threw the cot down in the trailer and went to sleep. Anyway, that's the story. But this baby's up and running. Thanks for watching if you got this far. I will talk to you later. See you in the mud. Bye-bye.